chat this evening. So if you have any question, please put it on the chat box before so that we can move ahead. So let's start by first importing all the libraries. So let's start by importing all the libraries. So import pandas as PD. We are importing 4 libraries. Then again, import NumPy as NP. So now NP means numerical Python. That's the meaning of NP. That's the meaning of NumPy, numerical Python. So the reason why we are importing it is likely that we use it in this analysis, because this is actually the core data analysis in Python. When you're looking for the core data analysis in Python, you are looking at the core libraries, which is pandas, NumPy, Seaborn. So we are going to use the Seaborn to make some charts. So let's say import Seaborn as SNS, and also the matplot library, import matplot library dot pyplot as PLT. So all these 4 plots, all these 4 libraries, they are important in the data analysis. They are very, very important. So to draw charts, especially the Seaborn and the matplot library. So let's run this. Now the data that we are going to use today is called an employee data set. So I will say that df equals to pd.read.csv, because it's a CSV file. So the name of the data set is fake employee dataset.csv. That's the name of the data set. So let me run this. So let's check out the data. So this is the data. So we have 8 columns and we have 1,000 rows. So, and of course, because it's a fake data, so that's why you are seeing employee 1, employee 2 as names, because it's a fake data. And I just want it like that. Then you see date of birth. You see date of birth, you see salary, you see state, and the likes. So now, if let's assume that we want to, your stakeholder says they want to know the salary distribution. Now, what's the salary distribution by department? So the question is salary distribution by departments. So how do you go about it? Salary distribution by departments. So now, of course, this is salary and this is department. We have different departments. We have, as you can see, we have the finance department, the sales department, the HR department, and the IT department. And I think there is one other department that is not yet appearing, which is the marketing department as well. So we can use for this question, that is salary distribution by department, we can make use of a box plot. So we can make use of a box plot to determine the salary distribution. So we are going to say that PLT, before I introduce PLT, let's first of all draw the box plot. So SNS.boxplots, SNS.boxplots. So I'm going to say that X equals to departments, because I'm picking from departments here. So I want my X axis to be department. That's what I mean by X. X equals to departments. Then Y equal to salary. And our data is DF. Our data here, remember that we have named it as DF. Our data is DF. So if I should run this now, it's going to draw the box plot for us. So as you can see the box plot, and you can see from the box plot, you can see here that the HR are the ones that are earning. They have the highest and they are the highest earners, and is the marketing that earn the lowest. So, but now when you look at this chart, it does not have what's it called? It doesn't have any title. So if you want to show this to your stakeholder, maybe you want to save it and you want to show it to your stakeholder, how do you bring in a title to it? So to bring in a title, then you are going to introduce PLT dot figure. PLT dot title. Sorry, PLT dot title. PLT dot title. Now, I was speaking to somebody today, and the person was talking about, oh, I like Python, but it's just that I wasn't serious about it. That the little he knew about Python, that Python is like English language. I said, yes, Python is like English language. Now look at this. I wanted to add a title, and I just said PLT. Don't forget that our PLT is what we name as matplots dot pyplot. So most of the functions in Python, they are named as English. So you already know that it is the title that I want to input there. So PLT, so that will be, let me call the title as salary distribution. Salary distribution by departments. So let me run this now. So you can see up here, it has appeared, the title has appeared as salary distributions by departments. Now, if I want to control the figure, that is, I want to control the way this figure is, maybe I want to make it bigger, I want to make it smaller, and the likes, then I'm going to make use of PLT dot figure. You know, this is a figure. So I'm going to make use of PLT dot figure. Then I'll put into bracket figure equals to. So figure equals to. So let me change this to 10,8. You are going to notice change now, both in the length and in the breadth as well. So let me run it. It looks like it's the same, but let me try to increase it. Let me increase this to 14. You will see changes now. You are going to see changes now. So when you look at it very well, you see that there are changes. When you look at it very well, you will see that as I increase it, decrease it, it was actually changing. So let me put, so if I naturally in, because we are making use of Jupyter Notebook, I don't need to put plt.show. I don't need to put that. But if you are running it in like VS Code, like Visual Studio and the likes, or in any other platform, you need to make use of plt.show. You need to make use of plt.show. It is very, very important. You need to make use of it. All right. Let's consider if we want to know another question. We want to know the number of employees per state. So what are the number of employees per state? Now, these are the states. We have Illinois, Florida. Don't read meaning into the data, like I've told you. Don't read any meaning into it. Don't even try to read any meaning into it at all. Illinois, Florida, New York. I think there are other states as well. So if the question says that the number of employees, we want to know the number of employees per state. So how do we go about that? Now, let's make use of a count plot. So let's make use of a count plot. A count plot that tells us the number of employees per state. So the count plot will tell us the number of employee per state. So we are going to say that SNS dot count plot, SNS dot count plot. So our X will be states and our y-axis now, because we said the number of employees per state, that's what we said. So we don't need any y-axis because it's the count that we need. We don't need any y-axis. So our data will be equals to df. Our data will be equals to df. So let me add title directly from here. So that will be plt.title. And we are going to say that number of employees per state. Number of employees per state. So let me run this first. Now, you can see it here now that the highest state is Florida. The highest state that has the highest number of employees is Florida. Florida has the highest number of employees, followed by New York. And the least number of employees is Texas from the charts. So what if I want my columns? If I want my columns to appear in different colors, now you can see that everything is showing blue. So if I want my colors to appear in different colors, I can make use of a function known as palettes. So we call the function palettes. So palettes equal to muted. So now this is going to change the color for me. So as you can see that the color has changed. So it's no longer just blue, 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 blue all through. You can see that I've changed the color. And that's because I said that I want palettes. Now, if you look at, when we look at Okay, let's look at salary distribution by gender. That how does salary, or should we look at the performance score by gender? The performance score by gender. I want us to make use of a bar chart. I want us to make use of a bar chart now. So we can make use of a bar chart because gender is a categorical variable and performance score is a continuous variable. So we can make use of a bar chart. So we can do that. So how can we do that? So we can say that, like I said, we want to look for the distribution of performance score by gender. Distribution of performance score by gender. So we can just say that PLT dot bar, PLT dot bar, then we put into bracket DF. So it's not compulsory that we use the SNS, which is the CBON. So our categorical variable will be here, which will be gender. Then comma, then we will have the performance score. The performance score. You can see that I came to copy it because if there's a mistake in any of the naming, it's going to give error. You are going to get an error if there's a mistake. So let's give it a title. Let's give it a title as the let's give it a title as distribution of gender, distribution of performance score by gender, distribution of performance score by gender. Then let's give it, let me try to size the figure. So PLT dot figure. So we have figure equal to, then we have 8,6. So I want the length to be 8 and I want the breadth to be 6. So let me run this now. So now, as you can see, this is showing me the performance scores. It's showing me the performance scores, but it looks like they are similar actually. Maybe just with differences. It's showing me the performance scores of by gender. It's showing me the performance scores by gender. I believe that we are putting down our questions. Now, what if we want to look at, let's say we want to look at the average, like we want to look at the average salary. What's the average salary by departments? So that is where we are going to make use of NP. Remember when we started, I said NumPy means numerical Python. NP, it means numerical Python. So if the question says that we should look for average, we want to know the average salary by departments. You want to make use of average salary by department. Now, you will observe that I use PLT to do a bar chart here. So for this, let me use SNS to create a bar plot, a bar chart. So plt.figure into figure equal to then 8,6. So it will now be SNS dot bar plots. SNS dot bar plots. So my X will be equal to departments and my Y will be equal to salary. Then data equals to DF. Now, we are now going to, I believe that you understand it up to this point, because we are told to calculate the average salary by departments. So we are going to make use of a function known as estimator. So estimator equals to NP dot mean. I've told you that the meaning of NumPy is numerical Python. So when you want to do any calculation, you can make use of NumPy. You want to do median, you want to do mean, you want to do percentage, you want to do quartile and the likes, you can make use of NumPy. That's why it's called the full name is numerical Python. It was just shortened into NumPy. So take note of that. So plt.title into brackets average salary, because that's the title. Don't ever draw a chart without a title. Don't ever draw a chart without a title. Average salary distribution by departments. Then plt.sticks. Now, okay, I will put you through this X stick and you will see. Let me introduce it to you. Rotation, let me make it 45 and plt.show. I will explain this X stick to you. So as you can see, that it has given me the average salary by each department. This is the average salary. It has done the bar plot for me by each department. If I change rotation here to 90, if I change the rotation here to 90, my figure is going to change. My figure is going to change. So you can see when I change it to 90, look at the x-axis, it changed. Now this is needful. Let me change it back to 45 degrees that it was before. You can see the way 45 is. So if I change it to, if I leave it, let me comment it out, it will be like this. It will be straight like that. So depending on how you want your x-axis to look like. So if it is, you want to slant, you want to rotate your y-axis too, you just say plt.yticks. So I just said plt.xticks. I just introduce it now. Now, the other time I introduced palettes and I call it, what did I call it the other time? I said muted. So let me introduce palette again and call it full worm. Now, some of you might ask me, okay, how do I know all these things? Now, you will know it by practicing. But when you Google, you will see different kind of palettes you can make use of. When you make use of Google, you will see different kind of palettes in which you can make use of. So you can see it has changed the whole color to me. and it's not giving me blue alone. It's not giving me blue alone. All right, let's continue. So I want us to do something on scatter plot. I want us to do something on scatter plot. So you have to take note that if you want to do anything on scatter plot, you can't do anything on scatter plot. You can't do scatter plot for categorical variables, for two categorical variables. So you can only do scatter plot for one continuous and categorical variable. I'm sure that by now you know what continuous and categorical variable is. Now, when you look at, let me just quickly explain for the benefit of those of people that are maybe watching me on YouTube, or if you don't understand. Now, if you look at name here is a continuous variable because it does not have any category. Date of birth here is a continuous variable. Salary is a continuous variable. But when you look at state, we have different types that are just 5. So that's a categorical variable. So what I'm saying is, and for department is also a categorical variable because they are just 5 and it is just reoccurring. So what I'm saying is you cannot draw a scatter plot for states and departments. No, that is state versus department. You can't draw a scatter plot for it. So, however, you can have a scatter plot for, let's say we want to look at the performance score by each state. You can have, or the performance score, or yeah, the performance score by each state. You can have a scatter plot for that. You can have a scatter plot for that, or you can have a scatter plot. Let's say we want to do the years of experience by gender. You can have a scatter plot for that. So let's do gender by years of experience, because years of experience is a continuous data. So let's do a scatter plot of years of experience and against, let's do years of experience against salary by gender. So that is what we want to do. So we say that, let me just copy this because it will be much more easy for me to edit. So I'm going to change this to scatter plots instead of bar plots. So that will be scatter plots. Then my x-axis, let me make it years of experience. Let's not do years of experience against salary. Let's just do years of experience by gender, and we use scatter plot alone. So my x-axis, let me make my x-axis. Okay, I think we can still have it like, yeah, let's have it like that against salary. Let's have it like this. So y equals to salary. Then so you now you know that in other tools, maybe Power BI, Excel, you have what we call legend, but we don't call it legend in what's it called in Python. We call it ew. So let me make my ew as gender, then data equals to df. So we don't need an estimator here. And let me just change let me use another palette here and use dark. So the title is going to be years of experience against salary by gender. So let me run this now. So it's going to give us a scatter plot. Oh, I didn't put a comma here. So it's telling me that I didn't put a comma there. So now you can see. So green is female, how they are scattered. Male is the pink and non-binary is blue. So now somebody might be wondering that what kind of data is non-binary, that now because they fake data and from where I am, the non-binary is recognized. There are some people that they don't recognize, they are not recognized as what's it called? They are not recognized as male or female. So this is like a typical scatter plot now that looks at the years of experience versus salary and how they are scattered within the gender, both male and female. So before I go into questions, I want us to do another chart, which is the histogram. And I believe you know the difference between histogram and a bar chart. If you look at a bar chart here, there are spaces in between. But for histogram, you will not have any space at all. So let's just look at the distribution of years of experience alone. The distribution of years of experience alone. So PLT dot figure. So now bar plot here is going to change to east plots. And so we don't need all of this. I don't need all of this. So this is going to change to DF, then open a square bracket, close that square bracket. Then I'm going to have years of experience. Then the title will now be distribution of the years of experience. So let me run this now. You will see the way the histogram is going to come out. I didn't put a T. What's the issue? I think I've possibly made a mistake with the naming. So SNS years of experience. The mistake is from here. So SNS East plot, there's no equal to there. So now, look at it now. If you look at this, you will see that it's quite different from the bar chart. Very, very different. So what this is showing is for this company is showing the distribution of the years of experience. And it looks like we have more people that have spent 25 years when you look at the charts very well, more people have spent 25 years followed by 15 years. If you look at it very well, followed by 15 years. So that's the essence of an histogram chart. Let me see questions. Finance seems to be the highest earners. How did you arrive at HR being the highest earners? Let's go back to that chart. Yeah, sorry, you are right. I was the one that didn't check it very well. You are 100% right. Sorry about that. Is it possible to write Python code in any other language than English? No. Python is like an English language. When does one know when to use specific library, especially Seaborn and Matplots? You can use, let me tell you this, to draw, to include title, the shape, how you want the figure to look like. You want to manipulate your x-axis, y-axis, the title, and all those things like this. You make use of a Matplot library. Now, see, Matplot library can do all the charts in which Seaborn library can do. However, Seaborn library will not be able to add title, all those things. So that's why we use both in conjunction with each other. Must there be an internet connection before I can work on Jupyter Notebook? Yes. Must there be an internet connection before I can? Oh, sorry. No, no, no. You don't need to be. It does not. You have downloaded. You have the Anaconda. You have installed the software on your system. So when you want to work on it, you don't need an internet connection. It's not connected to the internet. Of course, there are other platforms like the Google Colab. If you are making use of Google Colab, you have to connect it to the internet. And one of the advantage of Google Colab is it takes away every data from your system. I used to work on Google Colab before. It's just like Jupyter Notebook too. So it's like somebody using an Android phone and an iPhone. So somebody using an Android phone and an iPhone, they are using both phones and performing the same function. But for Google Colab, you have to make it, it has to be on the, but the advantage, you have to be on the internet. But the advantage of Google Colab is you'll be able to, so then I wanted to work on a large form of data. What's the difference between PLT and SNS? I've explained it. Yes, you can't do graph without any of the two. Yes, it's possible. White ticks, because that's X ticks now. So it's possible to do white ticks. Can you explain how to add color again in the first instance? No, I've told you about color. There are different palettes. I just use the ones that I'm used to. There are different palette examples. If you go to Google and you will see different palettes that can change it for you. I think I've used three. Muted, I use muted, I use cool warm, and you can see that the colors are different, and I use dark. There are different ones, different ones, different ones. And when you want to add color, when it is a Seaborn, when it is SNS that you are using, which is the Seaborn, it's called palette inside the code. It is called palette inside the code. It's called palette inside the code. But let me add to this. As I've used, because I use PLT, that's Matplot library, for the, I use Matplot library to draw the bar chart here of gender versus performance score. So if I want to add color to this Matplot library, I'm not going to make use of palettes. I'm going to call it color directly. So color, let me say color equals to, so if I want, let's assume I want to make everything purple. You will see that it's going to change. It's already blue. That's why I'm not changing it to blue. So you are going to see that it's going to change everything to purple now. So you see that it has changed everything to purple. Yeah, I've already said it's possible to have white ticks. But asked if I should install based on just me or admin privileges. For Anaconda, you just click on just me. Any more questions? So majorly we've had different charts today. We've had the bar charts. And when you look at charts looks more preferable to explain data compared to other things. Now, when you look at here, you can easily say that marketing are the lower earners, because when you look at it, they have the lowest earnings. They have the lowest earnings. But when you look at when it comes from a table, it could be difficult to easily identify. And when you look at this bar chart as well, which is the number of employees per state, you can easily spot that it's Florida that has the highest number of employees. Then also distribution of score by gender, but it looks like this is evenly distributed. Well, that's because I'm actually making use of a fake data. And when you look at average salary as well, it looks like the finance have the highest, of course, because they have the highest salary. So they have the highest average salary as well. So it's actually expected. So followed by the HR and followed by the sales team. And this is the scatter plots. So we've done different charts, and this is like an histogram. You cannot use phone. No. How do we present our results to stakeholders? Now, when you are presenting results to stakeholders, you can save your image. So when you save your image, you can make use of PowerPoint to present your results to stakeholders in form of all these charts. PowerPoint is very good. How do we get to know all the code to use? See, getting to know all the code to use, it comes by experience. It does not just come by okay, I want to I want to like do this. I want it's I just started learning Python for data analysis in the last 3 weeks, and you have no practice. So practice is when you practice. That's when perfection comes. Without you practicing, there's no how you are going to know it. It's not possible. There's no how you are going to know all the codes to use. So it is by practicing. So when you are asked that, okay, can we do this? Can we do that? Is when you are practicing. Yeah, it's possible to start applying for roles as long as you can defend yourself. It's possible to start applying for roles, but yeah, it's good that you start with internship. If you see an internship, that will build you. And of course, for internship, what is expected of you is to just be able to actually be able to do one or two things, because for internship you are going to be given opportunity to make mistakes. There are always opportunity to make mistakes. So internship is like for beginners. Internship is like for beginners. So next week we are going to build more on this next week, and next week will be the last class. Let's come with our questions and we will build more on this next week. So thank you very much, and I'm going to see us next week.